here. Jose and I are... Hey y'all, this episode we're reviewing our travels in Mexico and Baja California Sur. Episode includes our lunch break through Todos Santos, which is about an hour and a half from La Paz, and I'll show a little map here. Fairly nice, easy, there's not a lot of traffic. Along the way we stopped in Todos Santos for lunch. Playa Cerritos, and that's kind of out of the city, a little farther south of Todos Santos. We ended up finding a place called, I think, Cerritos Beach Club, or Surf Club, or Surf Town. Anyway, they have a guy at the gate and you just simply go through and park, and it's free, and they have a pool and it's beachfront and you get to watch the surfers. It was pretty windy the day we went. I think it's mostly always windy during March time, but it was beautiful. So if you want any information about the rental car and that process, that's in our Cabo episode, so look out for that. It's my handy dandy cheat sheet. I write down everything that we're gonna do and I don't update it, so some of it's not right. Fun to stay out of the sun, so we stayed in the shade, but the shade was pretty cold, so bring a sweater this time of year. Great lunch. Our server, I forgot his name now, of course. He was awesome. He was on point. Good beers, good tacos. If you're there and staying, great place. But if you're not and you're going through, also great place to stop along the way to La Paz. In La Paz, we stayed in a sort of Airbnb thing. An Italian guy I found on booking.com. I use Booking for almost everything. If not TripAdvisor, to look at forums and reviews of places. Super cute old man. Great views. Only 3 rooms. The best part about the Airbnb, or residence, would be breakfast in the morning. Phenomenal. It was quiet, other than the dogs barking, but they kind of quiet down at night. What else? This is harder than I thought. Some things to do in La Paz. One, you can go to the Malecon, which is like kind of means like a sidewalk on the front of the water. It's actually the capital, Baja California Sur, La Paz is, but it doesn't feel that way, especially because the city is so spread out. The Malecon is really cool because it brings all walks of life at night. You have the skateboarders, you have the rollerbladers, bikers, runners. They have kind of like these little like car, bike, go-kart type things you can rent. All sorts of things going up and down. You have the super athletic people, the questionable people. I kind of like it at sunset. It brings everyone out. And especially watching the sunset in the bay and all the like container ships out far from there. So that was really cool. A restaurant called Estrella del Mar, and great food, great service as well. Another place we ate was Olivia. Great Italian food, but we weren't feeling the vibe so much, and you have to get a reservation. It's super small. It was a block from our Airbnb. La Paz in general, the roads are a little, they could improve on the roads, I think. The artsy vibe with some little cafe shops that we stopped by at lunch. One of the places we liked was 1240. La Paz is definitely very strict about COVID related things. They had the Italian place we ate locked their door, so you had to stay at the door and they saw you before you could come in, even if you had a reservation. And even for lunch at the coffee shop, they had like a little chain, and you had to check your temperature and do hand sanitizer and make sure you had a mask before you could even come in. Other interesting thing are just some of the streets are one ways. So if you're driving, which most people are, just look out for that. The signs in the like top right below the street names, the street signs, it's amazing. A lot of other countries don't, but under the street signs it has arrows. They're kind of like nondescript, but that shows you the way. There in the very beginning of March, if you're there any earlier as well, is that it is the desert, and during the winter months there, it gets really cold at night, and even in the mornings, or even in the shade. So one thing to remember, to bring some sweaters, unless you're from Alaska or the Northeast and you're used to, so you guys may be fine, but like me, I'm a baby, so I was cold a lot of the times. A little bit of a letdown when we were there is we went to go see the whale sharks. See them, swim with them, whatever we could do that was safe. Days before, there was this big windstorm, so everyone who had booked their tours got their tours moved up forward, which is when we were there. So all the tours were booked up, and usually they're not. My advice or tip for anyone going and who do really want to see the whale sharks like we did, and you have limited time, I would try to book your excursion before you go. And this is the only time that I say that. I never pre-book excursion. They're in a short amount of time like we are. I think it's worth putting the money down and really trying to make it so you're not stuck without doing what you want. Oh, last but not least, in La Paz, just to be honest, we got pulled over by the police, and it wasn't so much a big deal, but it was actually scary. I've never been intimidated by cops here.
Yeah, welcome to Mexico.
Their uniforms were like so tattered and thin. It was kind of like costumes. And ask for your license and take it. So you can't, unless they give you your license back, you have to do what they say, you know, or, I mean, you're not getting away. So,
right.
And then the guy who's doing all the talking, now there's just like radioed in to, I guess, the police station, but who's ever on the radio can hear us being pulled over.
Right.
They're still behind us, but pretty far.
We got pulled over?
Yeah. And there were 3 cops in the car, and now we can only go this slow.
Which
this
is
fast.
60. We're really
60.
Like barely moving.
I'm
Can
going
you see?
70 right now, but
This is insane.
yeah. And that guy, the main cop, had like his whole face was burned. I think it wasn't burned because it was still red.
Yeah.
I think he got like maced or something.
Possibly.
I think they work for another boss, unmentionable, and they're just trying to take advantage of tourists.
Mm-hmm. So
And
watch out.
If we,
So
and especially
watch out.
if we didn't, and we stored all of ours.
Yeah, the other valuable bills are stored somewhere else. We had to basically pay them off, which we don't really recommend that because you're contributing to the corruption. What we would advise you to do is, come to the station and then talk to the commander or whoever is in charge. And
Just looking for anything to
Yeah.
get you on speeding or whatever.
and we ended up just paying them off. So
Not recommended.
don't recommend it. Like I said, go back to the station, talk to somebody, figure it out. Most of the times they said, all right, we'll dismiss it.
Anyway, that's the end of that video and recap. Some helpful hints for La Paz. Stay tuned for Balandra Beach, Tecolote Beach. That will be in another episode. So grateful you guys tuned in. Hit that like and subscribe button. It helps me out a lot. Adios, amigos.